The golden age of America begins right now.
We're talking about Jeffrey Epstein. This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable.
And look at the mess we have. We've destabilized the Middle East, and it's a mess. A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime, Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. During every single day of the Trump administration, I will very simply put America first. Our sovereignty will be reclaimed. Our safety will be restored. The scales of justice will be rebalanced. The vicious, violent, and unfair weaponization of the Justice Department and our government will end. I am filled with grief and anger at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk on a college campus in Utah.
Hello everyone. We can all see what happened in the US after the public execution of Charlie Kirk. The right is blaming the left and the left is blaming the right. It's a mess.
Hey Hassan, you idiot! Hassan, Destiny, hey idiots!
America, thank you.
Brother, when a Republican calls someone a terrorist, that person goes to jail. When a liberal calls someone a Nazi, that person feels bad for a brief moment until they realize, no, actually they are a Nazi, and that's good. Okay.
On TikTok IG, you can see that the people are now leaning more into the fact that Israel and the Mossad are the ones who did it. No one is accepting the official evidence or the way the investigation is being held, and the suspect is not convincing to anyone. So first of all, why are the people dissatisfied with the way things are being handled or investigated? We have all seen that photo of the guy on the cameras. He's definitely not the suspect. Just look at the chin and the face's shape, you can see it easily. This is not him, okay? And if, as they said, this type of guy killed Charlie Kirk for his views on LGBTQ and trans people, for the sake of his emotional relationship with his trans boyfriend, then why did the boyfriend snitch on him so easily to the police? It feels so suspicious.
Respond with precision, but he would also show you as little as humanly possible.
Why did he get emotional at the end after getting past every police officer and every checkpoint? After arresting someone, it feels to me that everything went according to his plan. It feels like this guy was well prepared and got his way with it, and no one was getting close to him. Why would he suddenly crack and start talking for no reason to everyone? When things don't have any answers, people start to dig deeper themselves. So the name of Israel come up. The first accusation is that tweet that came up at the time. I guess everyone has seen it, and the leaks about the money that Bibi Netanyahu offered to Charlie Kirk before his death. This is a lot of money, but Charlie Kirk reportedly turned them down. If this is correct and Israel offered this amount of money to one person, they really saw something in him. As recently seen, Hassan Parker says that Israel does not give a shit if Charlie Kirk died or not. He's not important, they already have Trump.
Charlie Kirk, first and foremost, was an operative for Trump. And as long as Trump is not going to change his values on Israel, neither was Charlie Kirk. His own personal opinion on this does not matter even a little bit.
But if this offer is right, they definitely saw him as important, not just as a right-wing commentator or debater. The second point that clashes with Hassan's view is that Israel is not working only on the present and the current right-wing, millennials and boomers. I mean by that Trump and J.D. Vance and others. Most importantly, they are worrying about what's next. The Zoomers, who have a changing view on Israel and criticizing it, as we can see everywhere. So Charlie was important to Israel and dangerous if he started switching his view, because the left wing is already lost. According to Israel, it's basically all pro-Palestinian, so what they need is not taking another L on the right wing. That's why everyone is putting Israel under the spotlight, not only for some conspiracy theory as Ben Shapiro says. That's why the people want this side of the story to be investigated more. It has a chance to be on the table, but investigators did not even mention this side of the story. The other thing seen and recognized by everyone is the pattern of how Israel works and operates. They need to do as much work as possible in a small time. They are bombing Syria, Lebanon, and continue the war in Gaza, and the flotilla ships comes from Spain to Tunisia, and then bombing Qatar, that they ended it with Charlie Kirk's assassination.
So yes, you have here a political and military leadership that wants a war, but wants it to be very much on the terms that Israelis used in the past for winning wars. There were three conditions that that the Israeli military commanders and leaders believed in. The first principle was that you have to take the initiative. That's already lost. The second principle is that the war has to be fought in the enemy's territory. That is not happening. And thirdly,
that you cannot survive a long war.
But many things are still not certain in this narrative. For example, that 150 million offered by Bibi Netanyahu to Charlie Kirk. And the other thing that will support this theory is the next piece. The person who will sit in the place of Charlie Kirk. Does he come with his support for Israel like Charlie, but with more and faced stronger loyalty to Tel Aviv, or with a different path that breaks all ties to Israel? Another thing, we need to know the truth about the dinner that was happening at Bill Ackman's house, after which Charlie Kirk reportedly said that he felt intimidated. We do not know much about this man. All we know is that he is a Wall Street billionaire and friend with Larry Fink, CEO of BlackRock. He is also the person responsible for kicking out Harvard's old president, Claudine Gay, after she aligned with Harvard students protesting against Israel.
And the protests were supportive of terrorism and supportive of things like, when you have a group of students shouting "Intifada, Intifada."
Let's free Palestine and from the river to the sea. The meaning of Intifada means to kill Jews.
When I raised this issue, Harvard said, well, we have a commitment to free speech, and that's why we have to allow this. Well, there's certain speech that is certainly permissible under the First Amendment, and then there's certain speech that I would say is undesirable on a campus.
Have you said you're not going to donate to Harvard anymore, or have you said I'm not going to hire people from these Harvard students anymore, or people like those people?
No. Well, one, we're not going to hire anyone that supports terrorism in Pershing Square. I haven't made any statements about, economic support for Harvard. I want Harvard to do the right thing. I don't want to threaten one way or another. That's not my kind of approach.
Anti-Semitic rhetoric, when it crosses into conduct that amounts to bullying, harassment, intimidation, that is actionable conduct, and we do take action.
So the answer is yes, that calling for the genocide of Jews violates Harvard Code of Conduct, correct?
Again, it depends on the context.
It does not depend on the context. The answer is yes, and this is why you should resign. These are unacceptable answers across the board.
All of this is not a fact. It needs to be seriously investigated more. But the thing I am sure of is that the truth needs to be revealed. This case needs to be pursued in a way that can really convince the public. Because lately, things are starting to accumulate at a fast tempo, and people are really starting losing faith in the system. The anger is escalating that way. The government needs to be serious and give the people what they want, to not make them act like another Luigi Mangione. We need to avoid that, really.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. Even today, there is little value in opposing the threat of a closed society by imitating its arbitrary restrictions. Even today, there is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it. And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. That I do not intend to permit to the extent that it's in my control. And no official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, civilian or military, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed. No president should fear public scrutiny of his program, for from that scrutiny comes understanding, and from that understanding comes support or opposition, and both are necessary. I am not asking your newspapers to support an administration, but I am asking your help in the tremendous task of informing and alerting the American people. For I have complete confidence in the response and dedication of our citizens whenever they are fully informed. I not only could not stifle controversy among your readers, I welcome it. This administration intends to be candid about its errors. For as a wise man once said, an error doesn't become a mistake until you refuse to correct it.
The report is that the president is dead. The word we have is that he is dead, that he was shot by an assassin at the intersection of Elm and Houston Streets just as he was going into the underpass. The word we have is from a doctor on the staff of Parkland Hospital who says that it is true. He was in tears when he told me just a moment ago.